Thank you, Attorney Mejia. Our next interviewer is the Honorable Justice Erlinda Piñera Uy.
Thank you, Attorney Cuevas. Good afternoon, Justice Cruz and Chair Cruz.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes. As a retired Justice of the Court of Appeals, how has your judicial career prepared you for the Ombudsman investigative and prosecutorial role?
Well, as a magistrate, I have to be sitting on a neutral bench, absorbing arguments from both sides of the equator, so to speak. And then, based on established facts, be it stipulated or proven, I apply the law. If there are exempting, justifying circumstances, I apply it. Your Honor.
May I know what motivated you to apply for the position of Ombudsman after your retirement from the bench and your current leadership at the Philippine Postal Corporation?
First and foremost, age is not the issue. I feel young.
May I interrupt? Do you have a term as the current chair of the Philippine Postal Corporation?
I serve at the pressure of the President.
I see.
He can kick me out anytime, whenever he wants.
And what inspired you to apply for the position of Ombudsman?
I guess it's for the country. I think I have the capacity and the willpower to be an instrument to correct what is wrong, especially in government, especially in everything that's ridden with graft and corruption. I don't want to lie in waste, waiting for the day to come, but instead, I'd like to optimize my talent. It's there, for the country.
From your perspective as chair of the Philippine Postal Corporation, have you encountered any form of corruption committed within the agency? And if yes, how have you addressed them? How would you address them if appointed as ombudsman?
Corruption in the postal is not really corruption per se, but I would term it as complacency. People are just complacent in doing the job, slow, getting their pay every month, and it needs some starter up, meaning you have to kick their backs in order to move. And that's my prime purpose in introducing innovations in the corporation, like how incentives. Those who are at fault need to be investigated. If found guilty, applying due process that I have learned as a magistrate, I impose the necessary penalty under the charter of the Philippine Postal Office. Maximum would be dismissal or reprimand, as the case may be.
Do you have a team to help you achieve this goal?
I have a very good board. We are 7. I don't call us the Magnificent 7, but we are cooperating towards that end.
The doctrine of inordinate delay has led to dismissal of several graft cases. How should the ombudsman properly apply this doctrine if appointed?
Yes, that's a very good question, ma'am. Delay without reason is really inordinate. I believe in the first in, first out method, subject to a timeline, with exceptions, of course. So basically, you must have a dossier in every case, computerized at that, so you could easily monitor it at the press of a key. Digitalization is the solution, Your Honor.
What concrete steps then would you undertake to address case backlogs in the Office of the Ombudsman and to ensure success in the prosecution of corruption cases?
I will introduce computerization, paperless work, and just like what the Supreme Court has done or is doing, paperless filing.
What about to ensure success in the prosecution of corruption cases?
There must be a competent team to do it, graft-ridden, free, and sincere to their jobs. I have to find that group of people.
Within the Ombudsman?
Yes, Your Honor, I will start within, going without.
So if you could implement only one major reform that would leave a lasting impact, what would it be and why?
I would believe that I would straighten the house first, neaten it up, and that's through computerization. And from there, I think things would be easier to do, not pencil pushing, not paper shoving.
How do you define moral courage in public office? And can you cite an instance in your career when you had to make an unpopular but principled decision?
Your Honor, moral courage is your belief, just like religion. You could do anything, undergo everything because you believe in it, just like religion. Typical example would be the martyrs going to the lion's den. That's a moral courage, walking into a lion's den because of your belief is moral courage.
Can you cite an example?
In my case, personally, I had an experience. This was when I was in the Court of Appeals. A case was raffled to us. It was an application for a writ of habeas corpus. It involved 6 provincial employees in the province up north, Ilocos Norte, when they were questioned by the House relative to some anomalies, just to generalize it, spending on the provincial level. They were asked questions by the committee, I think of good government. And the 6 employees answered, but on the viewpoint of the House, they were not answering. They were skirting the issue, the question. On that point, they were cited in contempt of Congress. They were put there indefinitely, quote unquote, imprisoned, quote unquote. The The detention was until they gave the answer. The provincial governor filed a petition for writ of habeas corpus before our court. We studied it. We issued the writ against the House and telling them to bring the bodies of the 6 persons to court and show if they are really legally detained. Supreme Court backed down, said you are violating the separation of powers. You cannot do that. We stood our ground. We said we are just issuing the writ of habeas corpus to determine validity of the detention. You want to hear that, because if it is not valid, we will free them. But if it's valid, you may detain them. They stood their ground, didn't budge. So there was a stalemate. Until it came to a point that we were cited in contempt of Congress, the 3 of us, members of the division. We stood our ground. It was termed as the Ilocos 6, if you have read that. In fact, just to be personal about it, prepared my night bag in office, waiting for them. They were at the gates of the Court of Appeals, knocking, looking for us. But then and again, something happened that they withdrew. And then it died out. I don't know, maybe because media and some legal luminaries to the print sided with us. We are correct. We're just enforcing the law. We are magistrate. We cannot be pressured. And that's about it, Your Honor. And we stood our ground.
And that was how it ended?
Yes, just like that. I think somebody somewhere
Intervened.
told the House, if you proceed, this would get worse and become a political matter because 3 justices would be detained by Congress.
How long ago was this?
2017?
2017. So that was my last question. Justice Cruz, good luck to you.